doesn't vlog, so.
Here, let me hold her up for you.
There you go, the nice. Hey, baby. Hello.
So we're gonna get this direction first.
Well, I was finally able to take a shower for the first time after having my daughter. It feels so good. They took her to do some last screenings and lab works and stuff. So yeah, I was able to fit that in since I've been like breastfeeding, nursing or whatever. I haven't had a time. Even when my husband was here and family was here, I wasn't able to. But I finally got that in and it feels so good. It is 1:30 in the morning. I'm leaving at 11 in the morning. That's when I'll be discharged. And I can't wait to get home to my babies and my husband. It's not the same. Hi guys, well I wanted to give you guys a quick little labor and delivery story. My personalized labor and delivery story. I was scheduled to get induced on August 16th, which is on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we woke up that morning at 5 and we took my daughter Aza to her godmother's house. She lives like 5 minutes away from us. We went to drop off my son at his grandmother's house. But Ellie stayed with us because mom was going to meet us at the hospital and she was going to watch her there in the room. So we were there. I did go in at 8. My doctor did tell me to have breakfast before going in because I wasn't going to be able to eat. But with rushing and waking up a little late, and I just didn't have time. So I didn't get to eat. Okay. And so they started pricking me at about 8:30 in the morning. They started pricking me at around 8:30 in the morning, but they couldn't find a vein. So they like put a needle in me like 4 times and nothing. So they had to call the anesthesiologist to come out and do it for them because there was 2 nurses that were trying. And he got there in like 2 seconds. He got a vein and he set it all up. So they should have called him first. But so they started the Pitocin, and since I had tested positive for strep B, I had to have the antibiotics in my body. So that started about 9:30, I want to say. I want to say 9:30 or 10. That's when all the fluid started, coming in, the Pitocin and the antibiotics. So, and at that time, I was already dilated to a 3. When I went in, I was dilated to a 3, and then my doctor came at around 12 o'clock because his office is literally across the street from the hospital, so he would come see me between patients. So he came around 12 trying to break my water for me, and he just couldn't. So he nicked it a little bit. He said that he was able to nick it, and that hopefully it'll just bust on his own. So after he left a few minutes, I had to use the restroom. So I went into the bathroom and I started getting a small contraction. But it wasn't like anything I couldn't handle. So I went to the bed, and when I sat down, I felt like a gush. And I told the nurse, and she checked, and she said it was my water that broke. So after that, it got real. Pain started coming, intense. I started actually tracking them on my app that I have on my phone. So I was, and they lasted about 30 seconds, and they were about 4 minutes apart. So they weren't like bad. They were still, I was still able to manage them or tolerate them. So it wasn't that bad. So then around 4 o'clock, 3:30, I want to say 3:30, one of the residents came to see how much I had dilated. And I was at a 5. I was at a 5, yes. So that was good. And then the nurse checked me again around 4:30, I want to say, almost 5. So she was going to check, and I was at a 7. At that time, my contractions were super bad, so I asked her to get the epidural. And she called the anesthesiologist to come in, and he didn't come right away, but and so when he came in, I had to use the restroom again. So I went. He's like, you can either go or you can hold it for 2 minutes while I put a catheter in, So I was like, no, let me go pee. So when I went to go pee, I was having contractions in the bathroom, and before coming out, I had to stop and stand. And actually, standing up with a contraction felt better than laying down with a contraction. So I was gonna say next time, but there won't be a next time for me. Those are my plans. But so yeah. So when I got into the bed, they administered the epidural. My husband held on to me, like he always has with all my the epidurals that I've gone with my kids. So they did the epidural, and within actually 10 minutes, I was feeling my contractions again. Like, they did not go away. They came right back, and I was feeling them little by little. They started getting more intense and more intense, and I told the nurse. And so she called the anesthesiologist again to come and check, and this time it was another guy that came, and he's like, you're feeling? I'm like, yes, I'm feeling it. So he said, okay, I'm going to give you a higher dose. I'm going to give you more, but higher, so if it'll numb it. So I felt it through my spine. I felt the coldness, but I was still feeling my contractions, because he had left actually. And he said, in 15 minutes, if you're still feeling them, let me know. So it was 15 minutes, and I told the nurse, I was like, I'm feeling my contractions. And she's like, well, like you were before? I'm like, yes, like they're really bad, to the point that I had already started crying. My mom came to my side, was rubbing me, and I was just closing my eyes and crying because it hurt so bad. And then my mom went out with my daughter just to get her out of the room, and then my husband came to my bedside, and he was like, it's okay, and I'm like, I know, but they hurt. And I was like, Mama Eve, why'd you have to bite off that apple? You're the reason why we're going through these labor pains. But I was like, golly. But God, in his wonderful mercy, he gave the knowledge and the wisdom to some doctor to come up with the epidural, which is awesome. That way we don't really have to feel the labor pains. God is so merciful. But so yeah, it was around 5:15, 5:30, I want to say. I was still feeling the pain, so they called the anesthesiologist to come back to re-administer the epidural. And my labor, the contractions were super bad. They were really bad. I kept crying, and the nurse was like, let me check you just to see where you're at. You may be ready, which is why your contractions are like really bad. So she did check me. Sorry. She did check me and she said, you know what? I don't feel a cervix. You're ready. You're ready to start. And she's like, are you, and the anesthesiologist was already there. So she's like, do you want to re-administer the epidural or do you want to go ahead and just wait while we get everything ready so you can start pushing? And I thought about it. I was like, I really could just start pushing. Like, I'm already feeling it. And I felt her head. Like, I felt the baby's head, the pressure with every contraction. Like, I knew she was just ready to come out. But I thought about it and I was like, what if I tear? Or what if they have to administer an episiotomy on me? And they have to stitch me. I'm going to feel the stitches. I'm going to feel, you know, when they're like emptying out, you know, pressing on my tummy to make sure that everything comes out. I'm like, I don't want to feel all that, because I actually felt all that with Ellie, because that epidural wore out while I was about to start delivering. So that I actually felt the whole experience. But anyway, I was like, I don't want to feel that because I felt it before. But so I was like, give me the epidural. So as I sat up, he re-administered the epidural. I kept feeling the, I just felt the baby there. So after he re-administered the epidural, I felt so much better. Like, I numbed, like, you know, waist down. It was perfect. It was perfect. So then my doctor came in. Everything was ready. After the third try to push, she was out. She was out at 6:19 to be exact. So grateful that I did not tear. They didn't need to administer an episiotomy on me, like cut me or anything for her to come out. She came out pretty well. She has a very small head. She did scrape me a little bit, which is what the doctor said, and he gave me just one stitch. He said just to make sure that that little, you know, just little scrape or whatever does not actually turn into a tear. So he just gave me that one stitch just to make sure. But other than that, I felt great. Like, I haven't felt anything down there, like any pain, just, you know, normal. But not like I did with my other kids, where I did need an episiotomy. And it was hard to sit down and everything, but this one, it was great and I loved it, which is why I love my doctor. Because with Asa, it was the same thing. He did have to give me an episiotomy, but the stitches that he gave me were like awesome. Like, I didn't even really feel anything like bad like I did with my first two. So I really I was excited that I didn't tear at all this time, and it was just like, oh, my last one, and I didn't tear. Like, I mean, she scraped me and I needed a stitch, but that's it. Like, not like anything big. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, my labor and delivery story. I know it's super short, and I absolutely am positive that I left a lot of details out, just because I have my children over here playing with these Legos, and I have the baby asleep in her bassinet in the room, and just trying to mash everything in really quick for you guys. So if you have any questions, want to know anything, let me know in the comments below, and I will make sure to respond to you guys, because I am pretty positive that I left a lot of things out. And also, my husband has been with every delivery. He has been there, and also my mom. But since this time I didn't have anybody to watch Ellie, she did step out with her, so she was not able to be with me in my last labor. It was just me and my husband. So it was pretty sad that my mom was not available. I mean, she was available, but she was not available. It was pretty sad that she was not able to be in the room with me this time, since she had been there with all my kids. So it was just me and my husband this time, but it was fine. Really quick, I also wanted to include that my plan for this labor was to use the peanut shaped ball, birthing ball or whatever that's peanut shaped, because that's what I used with Asa when I was in labor with her, and that helped my dilation progress. But when I asked the nurse for one, because last year actually, 2015. That's when I had Aza. There was one in the bathroom in my labor and delivery room, but this time there wasn't. So I asked the nurse for one. Actually, that day they were pretty busy. I do want to say that I did notice that. So she said she would, but you know, whatever. And so since she wasn't bringing it to me, I kept my legs open. Like I kept them bent up and then just open, like a 90-degree angle. And I truly feel like that helped my dilation a lot. Just because I didn't have the birthing ball, so I pretended like I did. Because that peanut shape is supposed to help it and help your cervix, you know, open up, and because you just have your legs open. So I really and truly feel like that truly helps my dilation progress as much as it did. Because I went like, I dilated from like a 5 to a 10 in like 0.25 seconds. Like, not literally, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I love the peanut ball. If I would have another kid, I would most definitely use the peanut ball again, because I did with Aza. I was with this one, but I didn't. But I loved it. I truly feel like it helped me a lot, and this is my opinion only, not medically like true, I guess. I don't know. But I'm not having any more kids. So, but yeah, so I truly recommend the peanut ball if you guys want to give it a try. So go ahead and subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me your comments and I'll make sure to respond to them. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.